Welcome back, viewers. This is the BET, and I'm John Sirio. I'm here with the famed playwright, Franz Kafka. Anyway, to get down to business, let's talk about your childhood.
Wow, so you're just going to go right out on the table. All right, let's get down to business.
Now, I would like to think that being raised by a middle-class family in the Czech Republic wouldn't be so bad. Can you tell us a little bit about your childhood?
Well, that's a little superficial of you, but yeah, of course. No, I was born in Prague, and my family, we were Jewish, but we didn't speak Hebrew, we spoke German mostly. My parents, from what I knew of them, they were pretty nice people. You see, I didn't get to see them a lot. We owned a family business, so my mother and father spent night after night, day after day, just working, so I rarely got to see them. So my three other siblings and we were all raised by servants and stewardesses. I really didn't get to see much of my parents. It was mostly the servants.
Wow. Perhaps I was wrong to assume that you had a nice childhood. I'm sorry.
Well, don't get me wrong. I mean, I didn't have a horrible childhood. When my two youngest brothers died, that was probably the most tragic moment of my childhood. But they were only infants, so I never really got super attached to them, and they hadn't really made a mark on the world. I mean, my childhood was pretty uneventful. My father occasionally crossed the line every once in a while, but other than that, you know, it was basically how any parent would want their child to be raised: uneventful, pretty easy.
I'm sorry about your brothers, but you don't seem that upset about it. I thought your existentialist outlook on the world might have stemmed from a childhood tragedy or a traumatic event that might have changed you. So, if that's not the case, then what does your dismal outlook on life stem from?
Oh, well, I hate to accredit it to any one person, but mostly my view comes from my father. I never really had a very close relationship to him, and he was always working and always overworked, and he was just very loud and volatile. He was very irritable too. He was always kind of forcing his way onto everybody else. He always had to be in control.
Changing gears, let's talk about some of your works.
Oh, yeah, certainly. I'm definitely in the mood for an idea change.
So, your most famous work, The Metamorphosis, that seems like a good place to start.
Oh, The Metamorphosis. Since it's my most famous, everyone loves when I talk about it. I wrote it in 1912, and like you said, it's my most famous work, probably my most successful. And for those of you who haven't read it, it's about a man who transforms into a bug, and he has to deal with life that way.
So, the themes of absurdism, existentialism, and alienation are very prominent in The Metamorphosis, as well as some of your other works. Do you have anything to say about why you include so many of these themes throughout many of your pieces?
Well, you know, I like to include these themes because they're very close to my heart. As I said earlier, I didn't get to spend a lot of time with my family when I was a child. My parents, they were both never around, so I felt kind of alone in an emptiness and in an empty and meaningless world, if you know what I'm saying. And as far as absurdism goes, I've always been drawn to it because it pertains to the desire for all humans to search for a meaning and value of life and how they're never going to find one. And this kind of goes along with my existentialism because it focuses on a sense of disorientation and confusion in this big meaningless world while searching for a meaning. So I guess a lot of these philosophies, they're all very close to me, and I follow them all.
So, Franz, I also noticed that the themes of like love and loss are very prominent in many of your works. Could you explain that a little bit?
Well, this is kind of difficult for me to talk about. I had a lot of trouble in my love life. At one point I was struggling with a sex addiction, but I'm also like afraid of sex. I see it as like a weapon that's always used against me. I hate it. And I incorporate that into a lot of my writings, not necessarily intentionally, but it's a part of me, and as my writings are a part of me. So they kind of get pushed together a little bit.
Well, I'd love to hear more about that, but unfortunately, we're out of time. So, I'll see you all tomorrow, viewers. This is the 700 Club, signing off.